Morning, guys. See, I told you I look like a mess. Um, so I guess we're doing videos now, huh? Uh, as you can see, I look like I just woke up. Well, I kind of did. Um, so decided to do this just to be funny and like do it like the way that I look right now. I clean up nice, and so the next video, I promise you, I'll be nice looking. Okay. Um, no, I mean I look like trash right now. It is 8 a.m. here. I loved the video though that you made, Rita. You're very quiet and soft-spoken though. You need to speak up just a smidge so I can hear you. See, I normally project and talk really loud when I do videos, and that's because I'm a YouTuber. I just started a YouTube channel. So when I post this video, it's gonna be like a part of my YouTube channel, probably. Hi YouTube. I'm also talking to more than just the group right now. But also, this is kind of cool, because if you guys if the people on my channel like what I have to talk about when it comes to religion and spirituality, and if people in your group like it too, then maybe people in my group will check out my channel, and then people on YouTube will be interested and be like, oh, what's this group? And they'll be interested in your group, so that'll be cool too. Okay? Now this is just going to be one of many first religion videos that I'm going to be doing. Today, because it's not an off-topic Monday today is Tuesday now. So, and you posted your video, Rita, on a Monday. So, what I'm gonna do is, I'll probably do a couple of different videos a week or a day, depending, because I need to get that thing going anyhow on YouTube. So I'll probably be posting videos way more frequently, as I normally always do. But they're going to be more personal, and they're going to be more about topic discussion and not just like links. I already posted like one of my YouTube videos in the group, if I'm not mistaken. It was a funny one, and it was for Off Topic Monday. But that one was pre-made. So this one, I'm gonna be discussing something of a religious matter. Okay, now normally, and this is huge, okay, normally I don't talk to like anybody what I believe. I usually generally tend to keep that very private. But you know, this group has caused me to come a little bit out of my shell and not be so, and I see other people, talking about what they believe, and they believe the same things as I do, and they make videos, and they make YouTube videos, or they'll talk about it, or they'll go on groups and discuss it. And yeah, there's always going to be those people who are like, you're crazy. But then there's always those people who are like, oh, that actually kind of makes sense, or that really resonated with me. And, I've been talking to quite a few other light workers, and they've even said, they're like, Natalie, you can't hide your light, you need to share it. And, like, it's gonna damage you and make you feel bad after a certain point. Sorry, my mom just came down, guys. So, I'm doing this in the middle of this video, and it's like, don't talk, because I'm in the process of a video. But you can say hi, Mom, if you want. She says hi, YouTube. Um, but so I mean, there are people who've told me you don't need to hide, or you shouldn't have to feel like you have to hide what you believe to feel like you fit in normal society, and that's been a huge step for me. Because, see, I mean, I started out, well, I guess it's going to be like, like, I couldn't figure out a topic. Well, here's the topic. Okay, I was kind of just figuring it out at the top of my head. Well, the topic now is going to be story time. So, this is, my personal experience and where I came from, and how I was brought up, to what I was brought up to believe, and my journey, and where I'm at now. Okay? So, and people, you feel free to make other videos or post in the comments about your own personal experience. Okay? And this goes for YouTube and the group. Okay, so just, tell me a bit of your history. Like, okay, I was raised Catholic, and Catholicism never resonated with me. It was just kind of dull and boring. It looking back at it now, it's a lot like born again Christianity with no flair, with no flavor, with no awesome fun music. And to be fair, like, okay, even though I'm looking back at it now, I'm like, okay, Christianity is wrong for me on all levels. And that's okay. I mean, if it's right for you and it works for you, that's great too. For some people it works, and for some people it just doesn't. And, I will say that a very positive thing when I was born again and I was a Southern Baptist Christian, things were a lot more entertaining, a lot more theatrical. They were way more involved. Things got serious and real and emotional. They got to the heart. They talked about the issues. They actually looked at scripture and tried to analyze it and piece it out. And that's why, I mean, there was a lot of flaws, don't get me wrong, with it. That's why I was like, yeah, no, sometimes this works for me, but sometimes it's lacking something, or it's not getting all of the things that I need to make me feel motivated or like a better person, okay, about myself. Now, it helped me, it can be a very good coping mechanism for a lot of people, and sometimes it's a consistent coping mechanism and it just works. Okay, well then, now the way that I am and what I spiritually believe is I'm an omnitheist, so I think there's a little bit of truth to everything. And then there's also your personal truth, okay, the stuff that resonates with you. And if Christianity is your personal truth, then you'll keep coming back to it. You will continuously, even if you become an atheist, and even if you do something else or believe in something else for a while, but you think, well, this doesn't really fit me, or this doesn't really resonate with me, you'll keep coming back to it. And this isn't just true for one faith. This is true for any faith. Okay, you keep coming back to that faith, then that's probably your path, and you should stay on it. Like, and this is true for atheism as well. If you keep coming back to atheism because that's the thing that resonates with you the most, it's the thing that uplifts you the most, it's the thing that resonates with you the most, it's the thing that makes the most sense, okay, that's your reality. And I'll get to that later. But that's your home, so to speak. And that's where you belong. And our society is designed in a way that it's got to be one way or the other way. And one is right and the rest are wrong. And this is where all the infighting comes from, and the wars and the turmoil and all that shit. Okay? Well, if we stopped for just a second and realized, no, this way might not be right for me, but it is right for this person, or it might be, then we'd be less hostile to one another. We would be more communicative about the things we believe, and we'd be more open, and we'd be more willing to share. So, on that note, okay, I personally, so I was raised Catholic, and that never stuck with me. So then I gravitated towards mystical lines of thinking, and more pagan and Hindu and spiritualism type of stuff. Okay, and that kind of resonated with me really well. But then, like, I thought, well, there's this guy. And it's always something, right? It's always either a guy or a parent or a sibling or a friend who's like, I think this is the truth. And, you love them or you care about them so much that you value their opinion so much that you go ahead and you immerse yourself in their way of thinking and their way of life, even if it doesn't make sense completely or work for you always. And you keep trying and you push yourself for it to try to basically make it work. And then it ends up not working at all, so you completely shut down. And I was with this guy for 7 years. Okay, 7 years, and I was a born-again Christian, and I tried and tried and tried. And it just was like, this isn't me. This isn't who I am. And I completely crashed and just was like, I'm done. I've had it. I'm done with faith completely. And I was atheist for a long time. Okay? And the only thing that got me back into this spiritual line of thinking that was correct for me was, well, I read the Satanic Bible. And if you know it, it's an atheist book. However, it's riddled with, like, deep thinking, philosophy, and spiritual connotations, and a bunch of other good things, that I wasn't quite getting from atheism at that time. I'm not saying I'm still a Satanist, obviously. I'm not. But there's a lot I still feel that is in Satanism and what Anton LaVey taught that I still feel and am deeply connected to, in a sense that this is very wise, or this is a good moral, or this is a good piece of philosophy or advice. So that also came in play when it came to adapting what it is that I believe. Then I fell into quite a bit of a depression. Atheism was no longer doing it for me, and not believing was no longer doing it for me. I had to, like, believe in something, because I knew deep down in my heart of hearts, given everything I've experienced some pretty strange shit, but I'm not going to go into all of that right now because we'd be here forever. But given after everything I experienced, I'm like, no, I can't just be crazy. Like, because none of this was particularly negative necessarily. And I fell into a depression because I was like, oh, my life is meaningless. I have nothing to live for. And not every atheist's going to feel that way, okay? Now, like, you hear a lot of people say, oh, if you're an atheist, you have no reason to live, you have no reason to be, you have no reason to have morals. That's not true. Okay, there were a lot. I still had pretty much more or less the same moral compass that I had always had when I was an atheist. The one belief that actually changed my moral compass for the worst was born-again Christianity. Okay? And back then I was pretty brainwashed. But now it's more like, no, I'm learning that, okay, I don't necessarily have to believe anything to be moral. And that took time, and I had to build it up stone by stone, and not everybody has to build it up stone by stone. But like, I just kind of realized, like, oh, my moral compass never really changed. I just, I was always that person. That person was always inside of me. And everybody is moral. Everybody has morals. Even Jeffrey Dahmer had a fucking moral code. Okay, so, and I'm not saying be Jeffrey Dahmer or have his moral code. I'm just saying, to every degree, everybody's got some kind of moral compass. Whether it's good or bad, or whether we perceive it as good or bad, is irrelevant. If you have a sense of right and wrong, you have morality. Alright? Like, well, Jeffrey Dahmer might think, like, oh, it's cool to eat a dude. It was like, I'm gonna stay away from children, because children didn't do anything wrong. They're innocent. Whatever. I mean, he's still fucked in the head, but he still has some type of morality. Alright? And just because you're an atheist doesn't mean you're not a moral person, or you won't be the same moral person you always have been. So if you're one of those people like I was, where you're stuck in Christianity for whatever reason, and you need to get out, just want to let you know you will always be the same moral person that you always have been, and don't let anybody try to tell you that you're not, or otherwise. Okay? Second of all, so, I mean, I fell into a depression, and I felt like everything was just hopeless. There's no meaning. If, there's nothing for me to work or strive for if we're all just gonna die, and everybody's gonna be extinct in the end. Like, what's the fucking point? What's the purpose? And I felt this sense, this drive, this connection, if you will, to be like, no, I want to go above and beyond that. I want humanity to thrive. See where I'm going with this? Or at least the people who are starseeds and light workers already know where I'm going with this, because I mentioned light workers before. I wanted to help. I want to help, and I want to assist humanity. And these thoughts and these feelings kept coming back. And they just kept on going, replaying over and over and over, with multiple different scenarios in my head. Like, well, maybe I could invent something, or maybe I could find a cure for some kind of illness. And it doesn't have to be anything necessarily that big. And so I started doing like little small things that would help my community or help the people around me. Whatever it is, whether I'm talking to somebody who's dealing with suicide online or at college, or if I'm helping somebody with their schoolwork, or if I'm helping an old woman carry her groceries to her car, or if I'm donating my money and time at the homeless community shelters, whatever. Okay? So I just started trying to look at life in any kind of capacity that would basically make me feel like it means something. Okay? I kept on doing good things. I kept on trying to help others. And I had my awakening. And I started remembering past lives. And at first I didn't realize they were past lives. It was very disorienting and very confusing. And that was a very hard time. Very emotional time for me. And so, I mean, and I began to realize, like, well, I've always been that person. I mean, I might not have realized it, or I may have gone down a path that was wrong for me, but then I backtracked and figured it out. But in every life that I've lived, and I've lived quite a lot, I realized I was trying to make the world a better place every time. Every single time, in some way. Or I did make the world a better place incrementally each time. And each time I did a little more. So, I mean, that's what resonates with me, and that's just who I've become and who I am now. And I'm not ashamed of it anymore. There was a period of time when I felt, because I was an atheist for so long, okay? So I was entrenched in a culture of people and had a lot of friends who, if I came right out and said, like, I believe I'm an alien soul that's been reincarnated multiple times on Earth, they'd probably look at me like I'm nuts and want to admit me. Uh, Even though it's not really any crazier than anything else anybody believes. But then again, there's a lot of people who are atheists and are radical, and I didn't realize that in the beginning. And they think any belief is crazy. I mean, there was a guy the other day where all I said was I'm spiritual, and he jumped down my throat. And I'm like, well, I didn't even tell you what I believe yet, and you're like, nope, crazy. Like, okay, so you're not even going to take anything I say at face value. So you've already completely closed yourself off to everything, whether or not and I'm not even trying to convert you. Like, I was just stating, like, this is what I use to cope with things. Like, if you can use whatever method works for you, but not everybody is as strong as you. Not everybody can just live a life of accepting there's nothing more to this. And, maybe there's a reason for that, so like what I call myself is I'm a omnitheist, pantheist starseed. Basically what that means is I think there's a bit of truth in all faiths and all religions and all walks of life and all ideas and all worldviews. But then there's also a bunch of lies, and you have to sift through the lies to get to the truth. And the pantheist part that comes in is that I feel like everything is divine, and we're all kind of connected, and we have to work together to figure out these truths. So, and then the starseeds things, it's just something that's like extra that kind of resonated with me, and I experienced an awakening of, remembering all those past lives, and it was nothing like I thought it was going to be. Because, like, at first, you delve back into spiritual thinking, and you think, okay, I'm going to go on a vision quest and have a reincarnation experience, okay? And then most people, they initially think, oh, I'm going to go back and see that I was a wolf or a dinosaur or something on Earth, something basic. But then you go back and you find out, like, oh my God, there's like spaceships and a ton of futuristic shit, but that's impossible. You think that's impossible because I'm going to the past. I'm going to a past life, right? Why is everything so much more advanced and looks like it's futuristic? And then it hits you and you're like, oh, this is taking place on a different world, in a different galaxy, or in a different dimension. And then it just keeps going, and it gets more. So there's more variation, and next thing you know, you don't know what to think, and you're like, well, what am I then? And then you have to, like, make personal meditations and connections to piecing the dots together. And the reason I like both paganism and esoteric types of thinking and spirituality is because it is a hands-on worldview. It is not like Christianity, where it's like, well, people are just going to tell me what to believe and I'm just going to accept it. No. And I'm not going to question it, or I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to pray to God and He's going to do everything for me. But kind of belief doesn't work that way, and that's why Christianity wasn't really working for me. And but then atheism's very hands-on like that too. However, there's this huge lack of, like, spiritual involvement and connection, and I wasn't feeling that aspect of it. So you'll notice this. Like, you'll notice, like, okay, well, I need this specific thing, or I need this specific thing, or I need both of those specific things. And whatever works for you, you figure it out, and you put your faith outside of a box. So you're thinking outside of a box, and you're not boxed in by what society wants you to be. Okay, and now that's very difficult, because you don't want to go out and express and tell people, oh, I believe this, because they're going to look at you like you're nuts, and they're not going to believe anyway. And also, the whole desire of even wanting to convert anyone goes away. Like, and I feel that's a problem too, like with Christianity. Like, people are, and any other faith, like, they're very pushy, and they're like, you have to believe this, you have to believe, you have to think the way I think. And it's like, no, I don't. And then people also feel like, oh, I have to think the way that that person thinks, and that's how they get caught in this indoctrination trap. And is how I got caught in the indoctrination trap too. And now I'm actually thinking for myself. I'm thinking outside the box. My faith is customized to suit my needs and my goals and my aspirations and my motivations and what uplifts me personally as a person. Okay? So you need to find, and you can believe whatever the hell you want, but I'm just saying, my personal opinion, you don't need to believe as I do. You need to do is you need to believe as you do, if that makes any sense. So you find something that fits and makes sense and resonates with you, you hold on to it. Okay? Don't let anybody tell you it's got to be this way or it's got to be that way. Just think for yourself. And don't engage with people as much. Don't tell everybody everything that you believe, you know, and when you're ready to, but don't feel like you need to hide either. Okay? Once you've come to a certain place and you're strong in your convictions and it's your own personal notions, your own ideals, then you can be like, okay, now I'm going to share who I am. And they can either accept it or they can reject it or they can take it at face value, whatever. But you have to understand and remember, at the end of the day, this is all for you. It's not for anybody else, and it's nobody else's business. Anyway, I'm Natty. I've got a bit of an alfalfa going. Natty out, and look forward to more of these awesome videos. And if you haven't checked out my channel yet, check it out. It's Natty Features Everything. See you later. Bye-bye.